Hello, everybody. How are you today? I'm bored, so I thought we would do a quick stream. Let's see what's going on in the world of comic books and general pop culture stuff that has nothing to do with anything. So today is the 22nd, which is Sunday, which means that the new previews catalog is out because it's near the end of the month. So I thought we could go through that and see what kind of comics look cool, at least in my opinion. And then we'll take a look at a couple of news articles before that and a few other little bits and pieces. So first things first, the Napalm Brothers made its goal by a couple $100 here. It picked up a few more backers. I think this one looks really cool. I'm really hoping this one does well. So if you're interested in GoFundMe's, I don't know these guys, but this looks really cool. And so did Bigfoot Bill. I'm surprised this hasn't broken 100K. I'm real surprised by it, actually. But this one looked really, really cool. And I've seen the quality on Bigfoot Bill 1 and Earthworm Jim, and they are really nice quality. So I'm kind of hoping this one follows suit. So if you're interested in these, check them out. I'm surprised this hasn't broken 100 grand. I really am. Okay, so next bit of news. Come on. BritBox, which is the British company or whatever that puts out videos, is putting a trigger warning on old Doctor Who episodes. And it's mostly because of this episode here. This is the Talons of Wang Chiang. And that's a white guy playing an Asian. I think they even call him an Oriental in one part. And now this used to be done back in the old days with like Charlie Chan and a lot of other movies. And instead of having Asian actors, they would put on what they would call yellow face now. And it's a big no-no these days, but it was very accepted even up through the 70s. It was still a little frowned upon in the 70s, but in the 60s and 50s and even the 40s, not such a big deal because, well, World War II and general racism. But they're adding these little trigger warnings, and it's really dumb. Yeah, BritBox digital video subscription service. So I've heard they're putting these on the DVDs too, but they're not really doing a whole lot of DVDs and Blu-rays anymore. But yeah, this is a big no-no these days. And yeah, it was accused of racism even in the 80s. I think this one's from like 82. Yeah, they called him a Fu Manchu character type, and he kind of was. But it's a product of its time, and yeah, it's probably offensive, but whatever. I think this is a lazy thing to complain about. So yeah, it's more people being hypersensitive crybabies about something trivial. Good morning, Ryan. Flu Manchu. No, this is a different one. This is an evil alien. So yeah, the bit of a naughty no-no. But that episode had a giant rat, so I don't know why nobody complained about that. All right, then something I really wanted to touch on was this interesting thing with the ribbit coins. This is very controversial. The ribbit coin was something Ethan Van Sciver was putting out, and it turns out the quality may not be so good. Let me reshare this with audio. Now this is from SWC Revived. They I don't know what kind of channel this is, but the SWC stands for Shitty Web Comics. No, not for her pleasure. This is for no one's pleasure, Ryan. No one's. I don't really understand this guy's channel. They seem to hate comic books, but they talk about them all the time. So I don't really get it. But apparently he invested in the ribbit coins. And what he got was something else. So he wanted to take one apart because it's supposed to have like an inlay on it. Let me see if I can read the actual tweets here, or the actual project thing. Give me 1 second to find it. I should be prepared, but here we are. Yeah, these were kind of controversial because they were expensive. And I get it. I think they're overpriced trash, personally. This is exciting TV. Yeah, the Cyberfrog coins were... It was obviously a cash grab. But, you know, if people are going to buy it, they're going to buy it. You can't really stop that from happening. All right, here we go. Yeah, this is riveting shit right here. Ah! Hope nobody's epileptic. Woo! All right, so these are the coins here. You could buy them individually or in a set. He raised 14 grand. I think they're still available on the Cyberfrog 2 Wrecked Planet Kickstarter too. I think you can still buy these actually. Yeah. So here it says they're mint silver proof coins for 2019 and 99.9% pure silver. And it seems to imply with a high-tech art overlay, which sounds like they're going to etch something on the coins. Now, you could come across these coins anywhere. These are a very popular thing on like eBay and places like that, these collectible coins. But what they are is generally they're like laser etched on there. And it says they're silver. But when we go over to the video, I'll put my headphones on to make sure this is coming through. Let me know if you can't hear the video. I'm probably going to talk over it anyway, but you know. So the idea here is to use mayonnaise to remove the etching. But when you watch carefully, when he pulls the knife away, it comes right off. That's not very high tech. Yes. So what he goes on to say is that I think he says it in this video. It's not even glued on. It's just pressed on there. And this is from that guy's Twitter page. I'm not doxing him. He posted all this. Yeah. Notice the little notch here. Yeah, look how cheap that is. You can see where it's pressed in. So I thought, yeah, I know, right? But check this shit out. That thing is $25 plus shipping for that one coin. And the stupid thing's just pressed on there and a holder's put around it. That is total garbage. $25 plus shipping. So it's probably $5 to $10 shipping. And it's a 50-cent piece. And he went on to show other photos of it. Let me pull it up here. I know this is really poor lighting and out of focus, but you can see right here this copper color. That's not a silver coin. It's pressed in. It's just the nickel and I think copper coin, the regular 50-cent piece. It's not a silver coin at all. So what the hell? And he goes on to say that it's 75% copper, 25% nickel, 0% silver. It says it was a 2019 P Kennedy dollar, and that's pretty fucking deceptive because as I just showed you on the thing, I did believe this when I saw it. This is from his tweets. But it is what it says right here. 99.9% pure silver. So he didn't even get a silver coin. The image wasn't etched on or even adhered to it. It was just sort of pressed into it. So this thing is garbage. I wouldn't pay $25 for that. I'd be furious. So I'm hoping other people will come forward and test this out because this looks like a fucking scam. I'd be furious. There's gold coins as well that are 24 karat gold plated. So it's worth about 75 cents instead of 50. But let's see. Yeah, you get each of the individual coins for $25 a piece. Different designs or images. Or you could get a set for 120. Ooh. Or the gold 24 karat plated set for $200. This is the type of stuff that is going to give Indiegogo backers a lot of hesitation going forward. It's going to give Comicsgate even more of a black eye. Either he didn't care to get these checked, or it's just a out and out deceptive practice. Either way, I'd be furious if I bought one of these. Yeah, buyer beware is right. So if you were planning on spending $200 for one of these, I would just say I would recommend against it personally, but that's just me. I would say be careful and be comfortable with what you're buying because this looks like junk. Like this is something that even QVC I don't think would do, but that's atrocious behavior. And I tend to think this is pretty legitimate. Yeah, this guy doesn't like Ethan Van Sciver, but he did buy the coin. And if you watch earlier in this video, he does open up the case and all that. I'll throw the link to the video if anybody's interested. Yeah, it's a big scam. So yeah, I was kind of annoyed when I saw that because it just looks like such garbage. So I wanted to kind of go over that because that's been a big deal lately in the news, as it were, with certain peoples. And I kind of wanted to cover it. I don't think we're going to talk about it on Comic Book Curation. So might as well cover it here. And we'll get rid of that. But yeah, you got to be real careful with these fundraisers. They are just, some of them are just junk. And this looks like one of them. Quick cash grab to pull in like 14 grand. Which is good money if you can get it, I suppose. But they dropped a new previews catalog for the new comics coming out in June. So we get a peek at everything coming out in a few months. And there's a lot of trash coming out. Black Magic's supposed to be pretty good, but I thought it was a little boring. But Image has got a lot of junk. Ascender might be good. I've heard it might be, but it just it looks so boring. All these books look so boring. Hardcore Reloaded, I've only read a couple issues. It's okay. It's not as good as the first series, but it's not a bad read. First series was great. Hit Girl and Kick Ass, I thought they were dumb. The movies were actually better, and I didn't particularly like those all that much. Oblivion Song's pretty popular still. I got bored with it. Otherwise, there's not a whole lot here that I have any remote interest in. It's just more SJW stuff like Bitch Planet and things like that. I'll review the first book here at some point for Black Magic because I've got a copy of that somebody gave me. I just didn't feel all that impressed with it. That Chew, I thought that was stupid. Same with Capra. Curse words, same thing. It's just boring trash. Decorum might be good. I haven't read it, but I've heard that it's pretty interesting. Same thing about Descender, but by creators I don't generally have any respect for, which, I don't really respect any of them anymore. Sorry, had to cough. All right, Godland. That seems like a tribute to Jack Kirby. Like I said, hardcore, great trade paperback. Highly recommend that. They're releasing Black Magic issue 1. Stop doing that. Curse Words and Oblivion Song issue 1s as $1 releases. This is a really great idea. They've been doing these $1 ones for a while to keep up with the True Believers line from Marvel and the DC dollar comics. So you could get a lot of these. I heard Witches is pretty good, but it looked like try-hard witchcraft stuff. But yeah, if you want to try these out, you can find these for $1. These are offered again, so a lot of them are already in shops. So Monstrous, that's terrible. It's dumb. Same with Middle West. I didn't care for it. So again, there's a lot of reprints and trade paperbacks coming out for summer. And of course, the Walking Dead stuff, which is just, it's a cash cow. We'll never be done milking that. The Wicked, I thought that was really trashy. Wicked and Divine. Then on to Dark Horse. I don't know what this is, but it's got a cool cover. Like that's pretty interesting looking, but when you read it, I don't know. I might pick that one up, but it's hard to say. You Look Like Death. This is dumb. Looks dumb. Umbrella Academy is supposed to be interesting, but I don't know. Looks kind of dumb. These Alien vs. Predator classics are pretty good if you're going to drop $20 or $30. Usually you can find them cheaper on Amazon. The EC Classic Archives. These are cool if you like old school retro comics. But the storylines tend to be very simplistic by today's standards, where everything happens in like 8 to 20 pages. They are doing this Orville book, which I don't particularly care for the show. Not my thing is all, but if you're a Star Trek fan, you might like it. This Predator looks awesome. It's the original screenplay for the movie Predator, before they changed it to what we've seen now, where it's just more of a giant lizard guy. And I'm really looking forward to this. This looks like it's really cool. It was originally called Hunters. Yeah, I thought it looked... I've seen the Aliens 3 one they did, and it was really, really good. The art was garbage, but the story was great because it was based on a William Gibson story. And these guys are basically the guys that gave us Predator. So they also did one of the original Alien script, but I didn't get that one, but I heard it's really good too. So I would definitely recommend this. June 10th. So screen cap that. Yeah, chameleon guy. So it should be pretty cool. I'm excited to see it. The cover looks awesome too. You got these weird bug eyes. So be on the lookout for that one. I think that's it. They're bringing another Witcher miniseries. The art's a little weird for me, so I can't really get into that. Yeah, there's the Alien original screenplay one. Yeah, I got to write that down. I got to remember to have my comic shop guy track that down. Because the issue one's out. Like I said, I didn't read it yet. Astro Boy Omnibus, if you like old school anime stuff, you might dig that because that's what this is. But that's really old. That's like 60s old. Somebody mentioned Berserk last time I did one of these streams, and I'm going to check out the first volume, I think. But I don't know if this is the storyline name or the first series. So I'll have to find out what it is, because this just says trade paperback volume 2. This one says Black Swordsman, so I don't know the difference. But I'll check out the first volume of Berserk if I can find it. This Blade of the Immortal looked like it might be interesting, but like I said, I'm not really a manga guy. But I'll read some of them and review them on live streams if people want me to, if they're interesting. I'm not paying $22 though, because $15 is pricey enough. But they look pretty cool. A few of them I looked into a few, and I'm not really into manga, but I'll check a few of them out. They're supposed to be good. Some of the storylines look pretty cool. I remember Lone Wolf and Cub was good, but I haven't read that in 25 years. And I don't know what Colonel Weird is, but that's an awesome title. So, yeah, Dark Horse seems to have a lot of weird stuff. I don't know how they have the Disney ones when a lot of the Disney stuff seems to be either at Marvel or IDW, so they just must be whoring themselves out. Yeah, they used to be about $10. I had a bunch of them at my comic shop that I paid like between 10 cents and $1 for, and I was charging $1 or $2 a piece. And I made a mint off of those things because even the stupid looking ones were selling. There's some more EC books. These have a real old school look to them because they're from like the 50s, maybe even before that. But check out that art style. If you like horror stuff or weird crime, these are definitely for you. A lot of them were reprinted back in the early 90s, late 80s as single issues. So if you like that sort of thing, some of them are pretty good. Most of them are very, very dated, but some of the art style is pretty cool on them. They were way ahead of their time, even though they caused a moral panic about the evil influence of comic books, called The Seduction of the Innocent. I'll cover that one of these days in a video. All right, some of these have cool names like Fate Zero, but that art style just, no. Grendel, that's probably pretty good. A lot of the Grendel books are pretty awesome. This Jenny Finn is supposed to be good too, but I only know one guy that read it. Personally, I usually like to find people I know that read comics and ask them as opposed to just reading online reviews. And I don't trust that guy's opinion because he's kind of an idiot. But he liked it. There's some Lone Wolf and Cub. Some of the art in here is kind of cool. And I just like the setting. And it gets crazy too. Then there's this weird teen romance crap. See, that art style's shit. I'm sorry. I can't get into that. I don't want to read about teenage girls. This Predator series was really good. I really liked that. I read the first, I think, 2 years of that, and I really liked it back then. But that was 1989, so. This Sherlock Frankenstein I had high hopes for, but everybody I've talked to said it's garbage. If Starship Down, I've ordered issue 1. If it's any good, I'll pick up these others. Or keep picking them up, I should say. Umbrella Academy is, like I said, supposed to be good. I didn't read it. All right, IDW. These have become one of my favorite publishers. They've got some really good books. Oh, Fate Zero's good? All right, I'll check it out. I'll write it down. Hey, Della. So, Snake Eyes Dead Game. This actually sounded pretty good, but Rob Liefeld's doing it. So the feet will look all messed up. But he's the writer and the artist on it. And some of the art that he showed on his Twitter page looked really good. So I'm actually going to check this out. It's $5, but I'm not that worried about it. Then we've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Annual. This might be okay, even though it's $6. But look at that giant crocodile man. Come on, you can't tell me you don't want to read that. The giant crocodile man. So I'm gonna check that out. And what else we got here? There's some D&D comics. If you're big into Dritz, you'll want to check this out. It's a 100-page giant. They started doing these 100-page giants to compete with DC, even though it's a higher price point because they're a smaller publisher, and they're all reprints. So it's a really good idea. You get 3 or 4 comics in one shot. And if you missed them the first time, this is a great way to get caught up. And it kind of copies the DC model, more magazine format. Alterna's been doing this too, where they collect their miniseries in a magazine for a regular comic format, but it's just really thick issue. But theirs are only $5. I think it's going up to $6, but they're well worth it. So if you're big on these and you missed them the first time, I would definitely check out these 100-page editions. You're really getting your value for the dollar. They're doing a reprint of the silent issues for G.I. Joe, too. Written by Larry Hama with some of his art as well. And this one is from... I don't think it reprints the original. Oh, yeah. I think they are reprinting the original 1984 issue. That would be awesome if they did. But they had a 21.5 issue, which takes place during that. That was pretty cool. So I would check this out for sure, because the silent issue was one of the best issues of G.I. Joe. That was issue 21. It goes for about $20 to $30 online, but it is one of the first comics to ever be completely silent, and it was a lot of fun. Even if you don't really like G.I. Joe, that was a solid issue. They did the same thing a few years later in yearbook number 3. I think I recommended it on Comic Book Curation, but that was another good one. That one's often forgotten about. But this one is another silent story. I don't know if they are reprinting Silent Interlude, but I hope they are. So I would definitely check this out. That cover's pretty cool, too. I mean, it's got ninjas. Come on. This Last Laugh's another trade paperback. I'm not that interested in that one. Lock and Key Facsimile Edition. It's just a reprint of the original. If you like the comic book, you'll definitely like this. So it's just a reprint. If you're looking to jump into Lock and Key, I know they made it into a series somewhere, I think on Amazon. So it's supposed to be pretty good, but I have no interest in it. But I heard the comic's pretty solid, so it might be worth checking out there for $4 instead of buying a $20 trade paperback or $200 on the original issue 1. Ragnarok, this is a really good book. This is reprinting the collected story of Breaking a Helheim, which wraps up, I think, next month. I'm a little behind on it, but it's been good so far. And it's Walt Simonson doing the Norse gods again. So the Sonic comic's supposed to be really good. I'm not a Sonic person, though. But if you're real into Sonic the Hedgehog, check these out. These are supposed to be really good. Dead of Honor Facsimile, that'll be a good one. That's another reprint, but should be pretty solid. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has been pretty good. I'm going to check that out. Urban Legends, I think this is the final issue. Yeah. That series was pretty solid, but The one guy was kind of a dick to me on YouTube, so I ignored him and I haven't reviewed his books since. So screw him. Transformers 84, if you like the original Marvel series, this is following that storyline, and it's new stories following that series. So those are pretty cool, and they're reprinting them in a 100-page giant. So that's a good deal for the price. Descendants, I never saw that. I'm way too old for that crap. These Disney ones are great kids material. A lot of them are reprints of the old Carl Barks, and there's some new stuff too, supposedly. That's supposed to be pretty good. This series of G.I. Joe sucks donkey balls. That is one of the stupidest comics I've read in a long time. It's awful. This Judge Dredd one looked pretty good, but I'm going to pick up the first issue before I commit to any more. These are such a disappointment. They're okay. I like the first couple of issues for if you're buying them for kids, but I would just pick up the trade paperback for the $10. It's going to save you some time tracking everything down. The Captain Marvel one is trash, though. Don't bother. Otherwise, they're just kind of okay. I'm not a brony, so I don't know anything about the My Little Ponies. I will buy the My Little Pony Transformers crossover, though, because I thought it looked funny. This Ragnarok is the first volume of the set. That looks like a really good collected edition. I really like the story. Both these first two were really good, so I might pick up one of those if I have extra money, which I won't. They are also, since they have the Star Trek license, they're doing this Too Long a Sacrifice. I don't know anything about the storyline, but if you like Deep Space Nine, it's probably okay. Their Star Trek stuff has been mostly good. These Star Wars adventures are kind of garbage more often than not. They've been doing a lot of stuff with the new trilogy, and they're awful. And sometimes the art is just total trash. I mean, look, what is this? What is that? That's supposed to be Chewbacca? And who's this? Can I say twink on YouTube? I don't know what this is. So, yeah, I don't really care about Zuckuss and Forlom, but this looks awful. That's not Star Wars to me. There's nothing here that looks fun. That looks like he's pooping, and he looks like he knows he's pooping, and he's letting him poop on his back. Good morning, James. That's Joe Biden in his final form. Yeah, that's a possibility, I suppose. So again, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff's been good. Transformers mostly has been pretty solid. I'm pretty far behind though. I'm really looking forward to this Transformers Terminator. I can't wait to read that. And Usagi Yojimbo looks awesome. And the color reprints, they're only doing 7 of them. I'm really disappointed with that because that is a really, really cool thing to see them in color. You don't get to see the originals in color very often. I've only been going for about 30 minutes. You missed some drama stuff and some news. That's about it. I'm just going over the catalog to see the new stuff coming out and see what I think looks cool. Missed me talking about the Ribbit coins that EVS is selling. I think they look like a scam. Or cheap junk, more like. Not really a scam, just junk. So Action Comics has been trashed because Bendis is writing them. He's so horrible. I guess there's some people at my comic shop that really like it. They sell like a dozen copies. But I don't get it. I think it's trash. It's not even good throwback stuff. Somebody compared them to the 60s. I think they're garbage. Same with Kelly Sue DeConnick's Aquaman. That is trash. You know what's not trash? These old facsimile issues of Batman. These were shockingly fun. It made me go back and pick up some old Batman books. I'm definitely going to pick this one up because look at that cover. Yeah, it's got Robin in his weird, kind of gay little costume, but it's the original Batman and Robin. These 70s stories and 80s stories were a lot more fun, and they usually were just one issue long. You know, there wasn't a whole lot of stuff bleeding over into the next one. So yeah, I'm definitely picking that up. I think that looks like an awesome little reprint, especially because the original is like $10, and I don't want to pay $10 for some beat up old copy when I could get a new one for 4. That's exactly reprinting it. So I'm definitely picking that one up. I'm gonna review a bunch of the old Batman stuff. I've got a bunch of them sitting around. The Batman 96, I'm definitely picking up. That's Joker War. Unfortunately, it looks like issue 100 is probably going to be the last issue before this reboot crap they're going to pull. Oh, yeah, I would definitely read that, Ryan. Usagi, Bugs Bunny, and Captain Carrot. Absolutely. And they would have to have Hoppy, the Shazam bunny. I would definitely read that. Batman 97, more of the Joker War storyline. Unfortunately, it's crossing over with Detective Comics, so I'll probably have to pick up multiple titles. It's Batman and the Outsiders, so I'd skip that. It's really bad. Batman Beyond's been pretty good, but again, I'm really far behind on that one. There's a lot of Batman stuff coming out in June. These are garbage. Avoid them. Batman Superman. I might pick that up. I don't know. I'm probably going to drop that series. Batman Adventures is the animated series comic book continuing where that show left off. Yeah, exactly, James. If it's goofy and cheesy, add more cheese. You might as well pile on. Just have fun with it. These Golden Age ones, some of those were actually pretty entertaining. They're really dumb by today's standards, but if you're a little kid, you don't care. It's high adventure. But if you liked the Batman animated series, this book is going to appeal to you. And they're introducing like Deathstroke and a bunch of other characters into the animated series universe. So it should be pretty cool. But yeah, these are awesome. And this Joker War, or the 3 Jokers rather, looks really cool. Apparently, the new idea is that there have actually been 3 people, distinctly different people, that were the Joker. So you get to see the different personality types and who they are over the course of that series. So that looks like it's really good. And Jeff Johns is writing it. So it should be pretty awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. And it's got 2 different covers for some stupid reason. I don't really care which cover I get most of the time. Batman's Grave has been really entertaining. I don't know why I like it so much, but it's very action oriented and he's trying to solve a overarching mystery, so I've been liking it a lot. Yeah, Ryan, they've been putting that book off for a very long time. It's been probably a year and a half now since I first heard about it. So Dark Knight's Death Metal, this is probably going to be stupid fun because the first one was pretty silly and it's getting sillier. So I'm definitely going to check this out. I thought the first one was fun. This one's got Lobo, and it should be pretty entertaining. It's all about the Dark Multiverse versions. And it's got Swamp Thing, so could be a lot of fun. So I'm going to check that out for sure. This DC Universe by John Byrne, that was really cool. I really liked John Byrne's work on Superman back in '86 when they did the reboot and brought him into the Copper Age because it was the post-crisis Superman. And I really liked that version of Superman. He was heroic. He looked like Superman should, in my opinion. Joker's New Girlfriend Punchline. They've done stuff like that before, and I think it's just lazy. Like, if they wanted to make a new Joker sidekick, they should have made one more interesting. Punchline's kind of a lazy concept. But I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. The issues haven't been too bad so far. But I just think of the concept as a little... it's sort of like copying a copy. Harley Quinn was kind of a copy of the Joker, and now they're copying her. So it degrades it a little bit. I think they should have done something slightly different. Yeah, we are in the Charmin age, sadly, in more ways than one. Because a lot of the comics are shit, and the people that reading them are butt wipes. So Batman Classic Adventures reprints one of the Batman Adventure books from the animated series era. Great all ages reprints. These are actually really entertaining stories. And this was the series that Harley Quinn was first introduced in. So these are only $2. These are great for kids. If you've got kids and you want to read a comic book and then give it to them, that's the type of stuff you want to pick up. So I could be entertained and then let somebody else be entertained and not bother me. This deceased, like I said before, it's about a decade and a half too late. Deathstroke Arkham was a pretty interesting story, but this is a real gem. These dollar comics are awesome to begin with because they're only $1 and you get a lot of old reprints. But the Saga of the Swamp Thing, I loved that series. Yeah, I haven't read the latest White Knight book, but they're going to do a whole imprint. Shard and Gordon Murphy's get this like multi-million-dollar deal to do an entire like universe, sub-universe of the White Knight stuff. So you can look forward to that if you like him. Yeah, Mime and Marionette probably will appear a couple times. There was a Mime character back in, I want to say Batman issue 415, somewhere in there. I don't know if it's supposed to be the same character, but I can't really tell. I haven't read that issue in a really long time. But there was a character named Mime in there that is far more interesting than Punchline. But this was a really good issue of Saga of the Swamp Thing. And it's only $1. So I'm excited to reread that. That whole series was good. This is the one where later on Alan Moore took over writing it and things got really weird. So if you get a chance to check it out, I would say pick that one up. I'll probably pick up all the dollar ones because I like those. I usually pick them up anyway, even if I'm not interested because they're only $1. If you like the Silver Age stuff, there's another reprint facsimile. The facsimiles are $4, whereas the dollar comics are slightly lower grade for $1. I don't mind paying $4 for one of these like $400 issues that I can't get. Yeah, with the issue where they explained both Harleys, that was fun. That was good. I actually laughed when I realized there were two of them. So this one we get to see some more Kid Flash Wally West. Notice his pale, pasty, evil skin. So these are cool stories, but they're really kiddie based. So I don't think they hold up terribly well most of the time. They're really cheesy. But if you like that sort of thing, hey, they're great. Some of them are a lot of fun. Some of them are just dumb. But if you're a kid, this is the type of stuff that you want to read because it's so over the top and you don't care. You're just out there to have fun. And some of them have some really great concepts. So if you get a chance to check it out, I'd recommend that one. The new Flash series is pretty trash, honestly. I'm not real impressed with it. It's okay, but I don't like Barry Allen. These Green Lantern season 2s, they're okay. I like the art, but I'm really far behind because I just not that interested. They're okay. I'm not big on Harley Quinn, so that's Quiz's area. This He-Man and the Masters of the Multiverse, I've got most of the single issues. They're pretty good. Hawkman's been a real solid series if you're looking for something cool, but that one you definitely need to start at the beginning to really understand what's going on. I've heard Justice League's been doing pretty good, but I'm not jumping back into yet another book. I should be cutting back on my spending, not jumping further. Slow Lane is trash. It's finally ending. Lucifer, I never got into that book. I'm not big on the villain books. Nightwing has the Joker trying to take Dick Grayson, or Rick as he's known now, on his side against Batman for the Joker War. This Planetary was an interesting take on superhero genre. It's definitely not for everyone. I can respect that it's well done, but I don't really care. I liked it back in the day, but it was edgy then. Now it's just kind of looks try hard. This Question book looks really cool. I've got one issue of it, but I have issue 2. So I got to track down issue 1, and then I'll probably pick up these other ones up because I've heard it's really good. Shazam's been kind of mediocre. I dropped it a while back, but I've still got 4 or 5 issues to review. Thoughts on Wally West becoming Dr. Manhattan? I think that's stupid. They're only doing that because people complained about the way they treated Wally West in Heroes in Crisis. And instead of bringing him back as the Flash that we all knew and loved, they decided to do something subversive and edgy, and now it's dumb because they have Black Wally West that they want to promote. So they're trying to effectively distort the character while still keeping him around. And I think it's incredibly lazy and selfish on their part because Dan DiDio hates legacy characters unless he made them or told people to make them. Superman's more Bendis crap, so no. Swamp Thing Giant, that'll be okay, but I'm not buying it. Superman the Man of Steel hardcover, if I had the money, I'd pick that up because I really like that miniseries. This is the one that reintroduced Superman's origin right after Crisis, and it's all done by John Byrne. And I love that miniseries. I thought it was fantastic. That's how you reboot a character. Make Black Wally blue. No, they made White Wally blue. Or as I call him, Real Wally, because he was the original. They'd flip out if they did it the other way. Wonder Woman's supposed to be doing okay, but I don't like the writer, so I'm not giving her my money. Young Justice has been total garbage. All right, now we're into Marvel Comics. That Captain America annual looks okay, but it doesn't look $5 good. Shang-Chi, not interested. He could be cool, but not under the soy boys that run Marvel these days. Giant size X-Men Storm, I don't care. The X-Men are ethnocentrist separatists at this point. The Ghost Rider annual looks pretty good. They're bringing back Vengeance, the character from the 90s, who's another Ghost Rider type character. But I'm excited to see that. I don't like what they're doing with Johnny Blaze in the current series, but we do get to find out where Vengeance has been and that he's coming back. So that's pretty cool. I will check that out. Yeah, Wally's silver and red outfit is really cool, but I don't like the racial swap. I think that's childish and it's effectively just blackface. They're adapting Rise of Skywalker into a $5 per issue comic book, so spend $20 to relive that abortion of a movie. The Amazing Mary Jane's supposed to be pretty good, but I don't want to support Marvel while they're churning out so much garbage unless I find something really cool looking. Like the Amazing Spider-Man Annual 21 facsimile, which I absolutely will buy because it's a reprint of the wedding issue. I sold my copy a long time ago, but I loved this time period. I mean, Jim Shooter and Dave Michelini doing the writing, that's a great team up. The cover by John Romita, and Paul Ryan did the art, and he was a pretty good artist. So it was solid, good time Spider-Man issue, a fantastic issue, highly recommended. And it's only $5. I think it's like $30 to pick this up used on average. So I would definitely recommend that one. It originally had 2 covers, one with Peter Parker and then one with Spider-Man, and all the background characters were Avengers or his friends. Here's America Chavez coming back. Oh boy, buckle up. The Portal Puncher is back by somebody I've never heard of, drawn by somebody I've never heard of, with a cover by somebody I've never heard of. And I bet they're all the right woke colors. So, yeah, unfortunately, this special needs violent sociopath is back in her own new series. It's a mini-series like everything at Marvel, but they're actually telling us it's a mini-series now. Yeah, Quiz is pretty excited for it. He's hoping this leads to an America Chavez movie. I'm not. I think it looks terrible. Check out this alternate cover for it. See if that'll come up. Loading. Yeah, it's more DeviantArt bullshit for sure. And what is with these thighs, these calves? Look at that. This calf is bigger than this thigh. And that face, that looks like a psychopath. So I'm going to pass on this travesty of printing. I have no interest in that. Avengers has been garbage. This Atlantis Attacks, I think they forgot they were publishing that for a while because they were running so many other books that it just got kind of forgotten about, and I never saw any advertising for it. Same with Avengers of the Wasteland, and when I did see that, that looked like such trash. Black Cat, a character that had cool potential, interesting Catwoman knockoff. It's a garbage book. Black Panther's probably getting canceled from what I've heard. Cable looks like junk. The X-Men books have been pretty garbage. Captain Marvel's still kicking around for some stupid reason. This Conan reprint book looks really cool. It's got a whole bunch of issues in it, but it's like $100, $125. But it's the old school Conan stuff. It looks like a He-Man pose there. But those were good comics back in the day. You could pick up an issue, and most of the stories were one issue, and you had a story. This Children of the Atom is the gender diversity swaps of the classic X-Men lineup. Yeah, exactly. Chun-Li would have been a much better one. Death of comic book movies. Yeah, you're probably not wrong. It would definitely be a sign of the apocalypse there. The Conan series, they are so hit and miss. I reviewed the Serpent War, and that was interesting. This Serpent Crown is dumb. I read the first issue at the comic shop because I'm allowed to do that for some stupid reason. And it was dumb. Oh, it was so badly drawn and written. And Conan looked like he licks windows. This series is very tepid. I don't know how else to describe it. It's okay. Starcold Alpha probably could be cool, but it's not going to be because of the people working on it aren't particularly interesting. The Doctor Doom series has been okay. It's losing steam pretty quick for me, but I might keep it up for a little while. I don't know if I'll make it to issue 9, though. Captain America has been garbage. Ta-Nehisi Coates does not know how to write Captain America at all. Squadron Supreme, they're trying to bring back a little bit. There's talk that might end up being a movie, and I would probably go see that, but it'll end up being all woke and annoying. Gender swapping characters in their mind is a way to bring in more of a diverse audience. They want to get rid of the white male characters and have more ethnicities and women. And their idea of doing that is just to swap a character out, and they don't seem to understand that the character of the person is not tied to the costume. It's tied to what we know about that person and their emotions, their character, that sort of thing. Their actual character, not as a fictional being, but as a person. And they've had years to develop, like Steve Rogers as a character and what he is motivated by. But they think that you could just swap anyone in that costume and it would be exactly the same. And then they would get more women. And that's not how it works. The characters are why people buy it. And Steve Rogers is Captain America. So if it's not Steve Rogers, it tends to not sell as well. But that's the mindset, as far as I can tell. Ghost Rider's been really mediocre. I keep hoping it's going to get better. But, man, it's not going anywhere. I mean, I got a few more issues to read, but I'll probably drop it before this issue comes out. How to read comics the Marvel way? How are you going to read this if you can't read a comic book? So that looks dumb. That's a cash grab. Immortal Hulk is Lecture Hulk. It's really stupid. Yeah, comic story. I don't like that guy. He's kind of a dickhead from what I can tell. And even he seems to have problems making these sound remotely interesting. So, yeah, I'm with you on that. I wish Marvel would make more irredeemable Ant-Man, but current Marvel would ruin it. Yep. And they wouldn't do it in the first place. Yep. I like Scott Lang as Ant-Man. I think he's an interesting character, but they always make him like this bubble-headed tard that wanders aimlessly like, oh, I need a girl to save me. Where's Wasp? So he's always incompetent. He's a stereotypical sitcom dad. They're dragging out these Iron Man 2020s for the cash grab. They're terrible. Juggernaut, no interest. The creative team looks like garbage. Marauders has been garbage. It's about drug dealers, effectively, that are hiding as, oh, we're going to take mutants back to the mutant ethno state and sell drugs on the side. Marvel Zombies, I don't care. I didn't like it back then. Marvel's X, more modern day woke crap. These reprints are cool, but man, they are very much overpriced. It's $75. When they were $50, they were overpriced. Now they're at 75 and they're really overpriced. Morbius, I wasn't impressed. New Warriors, went over that one before. Yep, not gonna give my money for that. James, I think, gave me money to buy the first issue, so I'm obligated to buy that and review it. But that is going to be painful. And I am not looking forward to that. But I will do it. I'll read the first issue. And my suffering will end. Yeah, Morbius probably should worry about the HIV. Nonstop Spider-Man looks really dumb. I don't even know. They're also doing a web of Spider-Man that focuses on the science of Spider-Man. And it looks really dumb. Dark Agnes is trash. Runaways is trash. Shang-Chi looks like trash. It's not cool Shang-Chi from the old days. No, they had to make him a stereotype of an Asian. Spider-Woman might be okay. I've heard it's decent. Star Wars has been okay. I like the first few issues, so I'm going to stick it out a little while longer and see how it goes. It's Bounty Hunters. I've heard really bad things. I've got the first issue waiting for me to pick up. Yeah, I can tell, James. That's okay, though. Sometimes it's good to rant and rave. Maybe they'll listen. Strange Academy is so dumb. Oh, it's such a Burger King Kids Club book. Like, oh, we got the body positive one. We've got the Latinx one. Oh, it's so stupid. Union looks like trash. Taskmaster could be a cool book. I'm going to read the first issue, but I do not have high hopes. But I'm hoping they do it well. I just don't have any faith whatsoever. These reprints are all pretty solid issues. These are all $1 books. So you've got a couple New Mutants issues. You've got an X-Men issue. You got Magic, which was a miniseries about the character Magic, not spells and stuff. Then you've got some more X-Men books down here, all of which are solid issues. These are all really good. And a lot of them are pretty expensive. I think this one's pretty expensive, as I recall. If you were to pick up the originals, like in even mediocre shape, this one's going to cost you probably $20. Probably more than that, actually. But this X Factor issue was solid. I like these. So, yeah, I would recommend all of these True Believer issues. And at $1 a piece, you're going to get 10 really good books for $1 a piece. Even this one. The web slinging for you, Buster. Oh, I wish I could set it on fire, James, but I'm morally opposed. I'll just give it to some like Down syndrome kid or something. He'll appreciate it. It's written at that level, I'm sure. I'm being mean today. Probably gonna get in trouble for that. Wolverine, I might pick that up. First issue wasn't bad. It just wasn't. I didn't feel like it was $8 good, but you get a lot of story there. So I'll probably pick up a couple more issues of Wolverine. I don't know if I'll make it to issue 5, though. As long as they stay away from the Krakoa nonsense, I'll be okay with it. Web of Spider-Man looks terrible. Let me zoom in on this art here. I just have no faith in the Spider-Man books. They're just more woke trash. Like there was that issue of Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man where he did fighting crowdfunding. I mean, look at this. What is this? Is he about to hump something? What is going on? Swing with your legs forward and no. I don't know what is happening. This is just looks proportionately wrong. Yeah, that is mean, James. You're right. So yes, Spider-Man UK, good one. So I don't like this. This looks like trash. Plus, it's $9. Oh, that's the poster. Never mind. But that's the poster for issue 1, which is coming out this month. Why is this locked up? The system froze. So Werewolf by Night looks awful. Oh, he's an American Indian now. We're gonna be PC about it. Yeah, that's all they'll show us of it, unfortunately. X-Men. I'm obligated to read that because of my comic shop guy constantly telling me it's good, and he's giving me an amazing discount on them to keep reading them. So I'll keep reviewing them, but I'm not impressed. This X-Men issue 30 facsimile edition is a pretty solid comic. It's the wedding issue, and it's I remember liking it back when it came out, and it's on my list of stuff that I want to review of the older stuff, so I will pick it up for $4. Oh, that would be awesome, James. The next panel gets hit in the nuts. Yeah, Ryan, I would have thought he would have been a Wendigo too, but no, it's Marvel. They don't. It's mildly racist to assume that he would be a werewolf because he's Indian or a shape changer. And wouldn't he be a skinwalker anyway and terrorizing somebody out at Skinwalker Ranch? I don't get it. But they just wanted to give him tribal tattoos. So now we're into Dynamite. I don't know how these guys stay in business. If it weren't for Dynamic Forces, they probably won't be. But they have all these cool covers, and then the interior art looks like ass. But they are rebooting the Green Hornet. I'm actually kind of excited about this because Scott Lobdell is writing it. And I didn't like Scott Lobdell back in the 90s, but by today's standards, he might as well be a legend. So I will check it out. Even though I didn't like his work in the 90s, doesn't mean that either he got better or that my standards have dropped because modern comics are so much garbage. So I'll check this out. Plus, I like the Green Hornet. I think he's a really cool noir type character that has a lot of potential. It's locking up again. Why is it doing this? There's a $50. Oh, that's a $4 one. There's a $50 version of this. There's no way in hell I'm buying that, but that cover's kind of cool. Red Sonja's been kind of garbage. I'm really disappointed with that because it's Girl Conan. How do you screw that up? Vampirella's been pretty boring too. I dropped that a while ago. I gave away a bunch of issues too. I only reviewed the first one. I think I've got issue 2 floating around. I should review it so I can get rid of it. Death to Army of Darkness. The interior art's not that great, but it seems fun. Deja Thoris, pretty solid overall. The art needs some work. The covers are great. The homage to Wolverine issue 1 here. But yeah, real sexy cheesecake covers. I dig that. But Dan Abnett's writing it. He's a great writer. So I'll give that a little while longer. Because I like the storyline, just the art's disappointing. Yeah, here's the $50 one. Signed edition, $50. Fuck that. Yeah, Virgin covers. These are just okay. Virgin covers are a great scam. They charge an assload of money, and all they did was take off the logo. So $50 for the limited edition cover that has no logo. That's it. That's the difference. And they're still going to be mass printed. So you're paying $50 to get basically a tiny poster. It's a big scam. Yeah, that's Something's Killing the Children. It's actually going somewhere. It's kind of picking up, but it's a character piece. It's not a horror book like it looks like. So while there are a lot of horror elements, you're fighting monsters, all this, it's really about the character interaction. And it is starting to go somewhere, but I'll probably end up dropping it because I don't have the patience for that. I want violence and I want action. And I'm not real big on horror books. So if you're going to have a character study horror book, I'm going to be bored out of my mind. I'm surprised I've lasted this long with that series, honestly. But it's really dragging for me. Little homage to Dark Knight Returns. But $50. And see, the only difference is they took this part off in the issue number up here. That's all they did to this. They want $50 for that. Hey, Mr. Scott. So yeah, Mark Waid did a run on Green Hornet. I've heard it's good, but I haven't read it. That was back when he wasn't a complete garbage person that we knew of anyway. A lot of reprints and variant covers. And look at these prices. $50, $89. No. Vengeance of Vampirella, that I wasn't impressed with that either. So, I mean, the covers are cute, but I don't need to pay $4 for that. Boom Studios is doing a Willow spin-off book. I don't know if it's a miniseries, and I don't really care. Power Rangers, Ranger Slayer. If you're a Power Rangers fan, you'll want to get this. Yeah, $50, man. Buckle in to pay for those stupid extras. So Ryan Parrott's doing this, and he's a really good writer for the Power Rangers. He seems to really like the Power Rangers. He's done a lot of interesting stuff with them, and his storylines have been pretty solid. I've read several issues. I've only reviewed a few of them. I'll probably review the others. But I think he's a really talented writer. And this looks like a good one. It's about the Ranger Slayer. It's an alternate universe. Kimberly Hart, Pink Ranger. And in her universe, she's a villain. It looks pretty good. But $8 is a lot of money for a one-shot. And I think this is only a one-shot. But they're doing some more stuff with Power Rangers, and this is kind of a tie-in to it, I guess. I'm really far behind on the Power Ranger stuff. I didn't grow up with it, so I'm not as obsessed with it. But that looks like a good one. And there's a foil variant for $1 more. So if you're into that. Angel and Spike, don't care. They took the Angel series and just added Spike on and changed the name for some dumbass reason. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I lost interest. It was okay. I thought it was well done, just not my thing. They're doing the $1 issues over at Boom now, too, with Irredeemable. They call it Discover Yours editions, but this is one of their first ones. And Irredeemable is supposed to be a pretty interesting storyline, but I'm not big on villain books. So Once and Future had a lot of potential, but I was bored. Yeah, that was the cover. And again, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Power Rangers, amazing crossover story so far. Trade paperback, I think that'd be the way to go. Save a couple bucks. Steven Universe, I think, is ridiculous. Something is Killing the Children, issue 9. I will most likely pick this up, and that'll be the make or break point for me. So if it doesn't really go somewhere here, I'm probably going to dip out. But I'm in this far. I'll read a few more. So I've already ordered issue 8. So I'll probably pick up issue 9. I'm going to order it, and if it doesn't meet expectations, I'll probably throw it out and tell the comic shop guy to take it off my list, because he'll do that for me because he's nice. All right, now we get into random other publishers. Blade Runner's been fun. I like that series, so I'll pick that one up. The indie books have been really my favorites lately because the big two have been so disappointing overall. Land That Time Forgot, Fearless, I'm going to check that out. I like American mythology. They tend to have really mediocre to bad artists. but I like the stories and I like them as a publisher. They seem to really try very hard to put out a decent product. And if you're going to pay $4 for a book, you might as well get something you're going to be interested in. And I like a lot of the titles they've got. They've got all the Edgar Rice Burroughs stuff. So I don't know if they have Tarzan or not, but they have used the Tarzan character before. I think they just can't use it on the cover. Shadow Man, I'll probably pick up the first 3 or 4 issues of this to see if it's any good. That's a creepy Michael Myers looking cover. But I like the original Shadow Man back in the 90s, and I think they're trying to go back to the 90s with a lot of these characters. Unfortunately, a lot of their writers don't seem to have ever read the 90s stuff, but Dan Abnett is working on a couple of books, and Bloodshot has been a lot of fun with Tim Seeley. I think Brett Booth is back on the book, too. Belle, Ghost and Goblins might be pretty good. It's Belle from the Beauty and the Beast storyline. But at Zenoscope, they do everything with the fairy tale characters. And some of it's really, really good. It's definitely more action-adventure superhero stuff than you're going to get over at Marvel. And chicks look really hot, too. So that Bloodshot, I'll pick that up. Look at that. That's a Brett Booth cover, I think. I like Brett Booth's art. It's very action-oriented and dynamic. Oh, no, this is some other guy. Yeah, Mark Lamming is doing the art. But I'll pick it up. Tim Seeley's been doing a really good job with it so far. And I've been enjoying it. So I'll check it out. See where it goes, at least for a little while. So I'll probably do the first dozen issues and see where it goes. Some random election dumb crap. Jake, I don't know. Nobody knows what's going to happen with this mess. So far, they're holding on. A lot of shops won't survive. Their margins are so thin, but I go to a fairly large shop. That's why I've never mentioned it, because it would be real easy to find, and it would dox me, because I recently moved, and I really don't want people knowing how easy it would be to find me that way. So, yeah, I think they'll be okay for a little while, but it depends how long this nonsense goes. Right now, they're doing okay, but you just never know. I can always order from one of the online shops if necessary. I won't get as good of a discount, and I won't get treated as well. And I would have to order further out than I do now. Right now, I can really trim my ordering down. If I wanted to, I could order week to week, because they really care about me as a customer, which is why I'm loyal to them. Yeah, I'm a total grumpy old man, Ryan. I told the cops to get off my lawn once. They weren't technically even on my lawn. I was like, get out of here. They did not appreciate that, shockingly. But, yeah, I don't know. I hope my comic shop survives, because I really like them. They do great customer service, and they're constantly getting shafted by the big companies. But they're great to work with. This Kana, I might pick that up, because I think this is a reprint of an old Jungle type character, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Monarch of Monster Isle. So I might pick that up, but it's $10. But I like a lot of that throwback stuff. Some of it was so much fun. The Lady Death stuff, I just never really got into it. It's good cheesecake stuff, though. So I might pick up 1 or 2 Lady Death comics just to review them at some point. I think I have one waiting for me, actually, at the shop, because I mentioned it before to my comic shop guy. But it's only fair I review some of their stuff, too. Coffin Comics, La Muerta has been really good, what I've read of that. So I'll probably expand into some of the Lady Death stuff just to see if it's any good. Patriotica, I got to remember to pick that one up, too. So that looked really cool. That's Antarctic Press. It's a patriotic superhero chick. And I'm actually really intrigued to see this one. I might try and get a copy of that Common America from a buddy of mine so I can review that. because apparently they're shipping that already. That just closed real recently. That was a Kickstarter. But I know a buddy of mine backed it, so I'll probably borrow that from him to review it. But this looks pretty cool. I'm really interested to see the character development of this book. So, yeah, should be fun. It's issue 1. It's only $4. It's from Antarctica. I'm not too concerned about it. It should be interesting. Some of the Antarctica stuff is actually pretty good. It's just not really my style, not stuff I'm interested in, which happens a lot these days because I'm old and bitter. Quantum and Woody, no. Savage, so Valiant used to have the Gold Key characters, which were Dr. Solar, Man of the Atom, Magnus, Robot Fighter, and Turok, Dinosaur Hunter. Well, they lost that license. So their idea here, apparently, is to recreate Turok with a different name. Because this guy hunts dinosaurs, and he's a savage. Ooh. So they basically just reworked the same idea and kind of updated it a little bit. Now he's a teenage heartthrob, a feral social icon, whatever that means. And now he fights dinosaurs. So, yeah, they're just, it's Max Bemis, which means it's probably going to be really terrible because he's not that good of a writer, but he seems to really think he is. And dumb people really, really like him. I think he's kind of garbage. His work on Moon Knight was pretty good, but he's not that good of a writer to me. So I don't particularly care for him, but I will check this issue out most likely. But I don't think it's going to be very good. It looks very much like a Turok knockoff. And that they're even kind of ripping off some of the old Turok covers. So I'm not particularly impressed with how it looks. Tarot Witch of the Black Rose, I'm shocked is still around. And it still sells well, apparently. Vampire Dad looked pretty good. And Villain Seeking Hero looks kind of stupid. Yeah, crikey indeed. Yeah, Vampire Dad, I'm going to pick this up because it looks like dumb fun. Like it's making fun of those old surfer beatnik type movies. So I will check this out. And I just like the cover. I mean, look at that. That face. It's funny. So I'm going to check that out for sure. A lot of this other stuff doesn't appeal to me. Action Presence is stupid. The Absolute Flip book, I probably won't pick that one up, but Absolute has some interesting stuff, and they finally are releasing issue 2s. I reviewed a couple of them a long time ago, and they're just now coming out with issue 2s. So, yeah, like Amped, I reviewed issue 1 like at least 4 months ago. This Zorro issue, I already have that. I'm going to review that soon. That's a reprint. But I'm looking forward to reading this because I did like the first issue. It's about these crippled kids that get control over cyborg or robot bodies, and they like mentally control them. And it actually was a pretty fun book. It was a good kids book, all ages, I should say. The villain was a little generic sounding, but it looked like an Iron Man villain. But yeah, it was pretty well written. Zach Braff, yeah, I'd watch that movie. I'm not gonna lie. Archie meets Flash Gordon. I'm definitely picking that up. The Archie books are so weird, and they have such bizarre crossovers. I can't help but want to read them because some of them just look fantastic. Like when he met the Punisher. It was dumb, but it was fun. It happened to fun. I don't care about these other Archie ones. Super Teen might be okay. It's probably a good kids book. I might review it to see if it's any good for teenagers. Teenage girls might like it. Because the Archie stuff's pretty well written these days. Captain Harlock, I've heard, is good. I didn't care for the cartoon. Or, I'm sorry, anime. but I've heard it's got an interesting story. I don't like the art. Cat and Cat, no, not interested. Jungle Woman, no. Or Cave Woman, rather. Catalyst Prime 7 Days. That series has actually been pretty decent. Oh, there was a booby. Wormwood, nope. Kind of badly written, even though it's Warren Ellis. I don't trust Avatar Press. They tend to be garbage. These conspiracy books are pretty fun. They're one-shots that cover various conspiracy theories. They did one on the Denver airport. They did one on alien abductions, stuff like that. But I have the internet, so I don't really need that. Crimson Scorpion, I do like this character, so I'm intrigued to see where that goes. I'm waiting on that to come in. I got the first issue waiting for me. I just gotta go pick it up. Crossed is dumb. Danger Devil sounds like a cool title until you see the actual art. Dan the Unharmable was shockingly boring and stupid. This Darkon, it looked good, but again, the issues were so far apart. That's what I have a problem with Absolute. Like, they have great ideas, but their books do not come out and their paper quality is garbage. So, Danger Devil, cool title for some strong independent women that don't need no man. Look at that stance. And look at those really weird looking boobs. And what is going on? Is that a dude? I don't know. So yeah, cool title for characters that are probably terrible. So not interested. Source Point Press is a real mixed bag. Their books usually come out late too. Like tragically late. All right, Deadly 10. These are hit and miss. Most of them seemed okay. Demon Slayer, I don't know anything about that. Dynamic Forces garbage. I'm not paying you $60 for an autograph from some dude that blocked me on Twitter. Dix is supposed to be pretty good. I think that's a Garth Ennis book. I've heard it's good, but it didn't look like something I'm particularly interested in. Dr. Tomorrow has a lot of potential, but it's incredibly mediocre. Yeah, she did look like a handyman. Dual Identity, again, great idea, really, really late. So the first issue of this, I think, came out 6 months ago. Escape of the Living Dead, no. Final Witness looked like it might have potential, but I'm going to read the first issue and see where it goes. I don't like the artist that's on the book, but we'll see if it's any good. No, Dr. Tomorrow's not the cryogenics guy from Futurama. It's a superhero from an alternate universe comes back to give his younger version a suit to stop a supervillain. First Defense, it might be okay. I missed the first issue, though. My comic shop doesn't like carrying Avatar or Source Point or Absolute because they're constantly late, apparently. Führer and the Tramp is about that German guy from the 40s that ran that place. Sorry, he's Austrian, wasn't he? And the Tramp was the guy from the silent movies, Charlie Chaplin. And a wacky story. It looks awful. Could have been an interesting premise, but pretty poorly done. The Girl Genius, I have zero interest in. God is Dead is dumb. Let's see, a bunch of garbage here. Grim Fairy Tales, I haven't been reading that series, but I've heard good things. Gung Ho was absolutely dumb. Very lazy book. Poorly written trash. Which is sad, because it's by the same company that did Vampire State Building, and I really enjoyed that one. Hexagon is by Impact Theory. These guys did Neon Future, and Neon Future was every generic element of every cyberpunk movie you've ever seen. Take elements of Johnny Mnemonic, take some elements of Blade Runner, some elements from Runaway and The Running Man, and just throw them all together and have 10 people write it. Hexagon is probably going to be the same way. I ordered the first issue because it looked like the last Starfighter knockoff. And I want to see how that plays out, because if it is the last Starfighter knockoff, I'm going to make fun of it. And I'll have fun doing that. But beyond that, it might be good, but I don't think it is. I Survived looks dumb. Ignited is awful. It's about teenage terrorists. In Case You Missed It is a great way to read books you missed from Alterna. And at $1.25, you really can't lose. And they're reprinting actual Roger, which I really liked. Iron Maiden Legacy of the Beast. If you're an Iron Maiden fan, these are pretty fun. And the price is $16.66. John Carpenter's Tales of Science Fiction, Vortex. Long title for an interesting book. I like a lot of these. I'm going to pick that one up, I think. I ordered the first issue. It came out on Wednesday's Alterna book, so I'll pick it up. It's only $2. Katrina, I'll probably try and pick that up. But again, I don't remember what happened in issue 1 because it was a month ago, or 6 months ago. Rebuild the Genetic Opera, probably. I haven't heard anyone mention that in a long time. A bunch of weird weeb shit. What is this? More Lady Death. Land That Time Forgot is pretty interesting. Some of these are really good. Like this Fear on Four Worlds. That's a 4-part story, one from each universe of Edgar Rice Burroughs, or each book series. And that was a pretty cool idea. But some of the art was pretty tragic. But I didn't feel too ripped off because it was still better than a Marvel book. It took me a while to find one of the parts, though. I think it was this issue. And I ended up ordering a different issue that I thought was the one I was missing. So I ended up with 2 copies of it. And it really made me mad because it was $4. It's hard to impulse shop when everything is like $4 and up, because I just don't have that kind of money to throw around. I mean, even with my discount, and I get a substantial discount. So until I start making money off of my YouTube channel from ad revenue, I don't have the budget for that. This Monstrous Witch Hunter has a great idea, but it's not going to be good, unfortunately. You can tell by the description it involves steampunk suddenly. Like, they take these cool ideas of like Baba Yaga losing her magic, and she's got to go investigate something else to try and get her magic powers back. And then she recruits a steampunk scientist, and it lost me there because I'm pretty sure it's going to be dumb. A bunch more anime stuff that I have no interest in. Neon Future Volume 2, probably going to be 5 other movies that I enjoyed wedged into one storyline. But I might pick up the first issue to see if it's as mediocre as the original. Ninjas and Robots, but that might be okay, but I kind of doubt it. North Bend looked like it might be interesting. I'm going to read the first issue, though, before I decide to buy any of the others. This isn't a bad deal for $10. You're actually saving a few dollars. Pre-code classics. These aren't bad. They're old Golden Age stuff that's kind of long forgotten. Some of the Golden Age stuff, like I said, it was pretty good, but it was very compressed, really short stories. Rye, I'm going to keep picking that up as long as Dan Abnett's on it, or until I could tell that he lost interest. But so far, not a bad series. I got to review those at some point. Rising of the Shield Hero. I hear a lot of people talking about that, but I don't watch the animes, so I don't know anything about it. That doesn't look like it's something I'm going to be interested in. Robin Hood Justice, I will probably pick that up. It's got a pretty decent creative team on it. It's Ben Mears, who's a pretty decent writer, and I can't pronounce that, but the idea is pretty cool. Robin Hood is the blonde hot chick because it's spelled like a chick's name, and I thought some of those were pretty good. Dudley Do Right, great kids book. Peabody, all these Bullwinkle and stuff like that from American mythology are solid kids books. I never saw anything that was inappropriate in them. There might be, but I haven't found one yet that was a problem. And they do a lot of offered agains with those, so you can always reorder them a few months later. This Scourge might be good, but I don't know. Aspen's put a hold on all their books because of the coronavirus, so I don't know if that's going to come out on time or not. But it looked like Scourge could be pretty solid. I'm going to take a chance on the first issue, most likely, if they could resume their publishing schedule. Stabbity Bunny was dumb. Stitched is dumb. This Storm Kids, I thought was kind of dumb. I was really disappointed with that. Strange Lands is real dumb. Super Duck, I'm going to pass. Tinseltown, that's a weird vignette series from Alterna. It took me a while to figure out what they were doing with it, but it's okay. Not the greatest thing I've ever read, but I got $2 worth of entertainment out of it. So I'll pick that up in case the series gets better. I think it's got a lot of potential. Van Helsing versus League of Monsters is kind of cool. It's this descendant of Professor Van Helsing. I don't like her stupid hat, but otherwise it's pretty cool type of character. And she's fighting the classic Universal type monsters. So I'm gonna review those, but it seemed like it was pretty cool. I might change my mind on second reading, but Sworn Ellis book Dark Blue, that was a total cash grab back then, and it looks that way now too. Wayward Sons and Wayward Legends, again, looked like it would be cool, but I missed the first issue because never knew when they came out, and it was 6 months ago, so now I gotta go track them down. Not happening. White Widow, I'm up to date on that as far as having the issues, but I haven't had a chance to read them yet. It's kind of a knockoff Spider-Man type with this chick, but there was enough there to differentiate between her and Spider-Man, and it's got a lot of potential, I think. We'll see. And most of this other stuff looks kind of trash. Exo Manowar, I'm interested to see where they go with that. I haven't read the first issue yet, but it's out on the stands. And I thought Exo was a cool concept. I don't really remember it. I did read several issues back in the 90s, but that was like 1994. And that was a long time ago. But I remember thinking the character was cool, at least in concept. But I'm intrigued to see where this series goes. Zombie Tramp is dumb. Zorro Galleon of the Dead. Man, their Zorro books have been awesome. He fought the old gods. He fought zombies. Now he's going to fight a ship full of dead pirates. I mean, come on. Who doesn't want to read that? I do. Talk about doing something awesome new with Zorro. And here's some offered agains. These are reprints of older books. Lady Rawhide is a reprint of a book I think Topps did back in like 96. And I remember liking that issue, but I couldn't tell you what the plot was. Probably because the plot was these seas. And, well, you tell me if that looks interesting or not. But I remember thinking the issue was pretty well written, so I'll probably check this out. It's a facsimile edition I can get behind. Zorro versus the Spanish Flu. I don't think I want to read that one. But yeah, the Zorro stuff, the American mythology, I'll give them a chance on most of their books. There's a few of the monster ones that I don't really get into, but their Zorro stuff I'll pick up anytime because I think the stories are good. Their Zorro writers have been really solid. And they do these reprints of the older issues, and some of those are pretty fun too. So that is basically my thoughts on the June previews. I'm not going to bore you with the toys and stuff because I don't really buy that stuff anymore. I really only bought it for my shop, and I had some cool, like, if there was a cool action figure or two, I'd buy them then, but that was about it. I never really held on to any of that stuff too much. I didn't collect toys for very long. So if you guys have any questions or anything, that's kind of all I really had planned. Was to discuss the Ribbit coin fiasco and go over the new stuff coming out. So yeah, that's what's coming up. DC, I think they pulled the Generations books, Gen 5. That was supposed to come out, I thought, in June. So I don't know what they're doing, but they may be doing it in August. So I don't know if they slowed down their schedule or what, but a lot of these books will probably be delayed because of the coronavirus, especially from the smaller publishers, which kind of annoys me. But I get it. Hopefully, it doesn't cripple the comic book industry. I'd be real depressed by that because I do like this hobby. And without the Diamond, or without enough stores, Diamond will fold, and that will throw everything into massive chaos. And they'll have to go back to the old way of doing stuff back in the 80s where you had accounts with all these different publishers. I don't know, James. I ask myself that a lot. But I think I annoy a lot of people. So apparently I am a monster. And I'm okay with that. So yeah, I don't know anybody that goes through the previous catalog. And I think that's one of the most pivotal parts of fandom is knowing what's coming out. So I love going through the catalogs. I used to love having the paper catalog, but they took up so much room. And I got tired of hauling them all to the recycling or the trash, depending on what you call it. That it just took up too much space, but so I go through them digitally now and see what I want, make a list of what I want, and give it to my comic shop guy. But I think this is the most interesting part is looking at all the cool stuff coming out. Seeing what's like, oh, I want that. That's going to be awesome. Especially like Transformers versus Terminator. When I saw that, gotta admit that was pretty exciting. I haven't been that excited for a comic in a while. That's just awesome crossover, and that's the brilliance of some of the IDW guys and Dark Horse and those guys. They get these licenses and they got to make the most of them. But yeah, G.I. Joe Transformers was really good. G.I. Joe's $6 Million Man. If you haven't read that and you're a kid from the 70s or 80s, seriously, that is an awesome book. And there's some great throwback stuff to a lot of the 70s stuff. So I highly recommend that one. That was so much fun to read. So there's some good stuff coming out in June, and gives me a little bit of hope for the comic industry that there is still good books out there, even though places like Image have really hit the skids, and Marvel is just, I think they honestly hate the fans. I really believe that. They hate their fan base, and they want them all to go away and replaced with SJWs and intersectional nonsense. If they could do that, I think they'd be the happiest people on earth. I know, Ryan. That's what I keep telling people. It's just that my awesomeness is just right there, and people don't like that sometimes. And then they'll take me out of context and bitch in monkeys chat. Not naming names, but you know who you are, Zelthor. So yeah, some good stuff out here. Yeah, I like a lot of these reprint ones. They're just so expensive. If you're going to buy trades, honestly, Amazon is way cheaper than your comic shop, but I really try and support my comic guys. Is there any consistency? No, it's usually when I'm bored and Monkey's not streaming. So I was trying to do them on Sundays, and technically it's Sunday, but I was really bored tonight, and there were a lot of YouTube videos I could watch, but I just felt like doing something, so I thought I'll stream. And a lot of these, like the thing with the ribbit coins, I saw that and it really pissed me off because those were so lazily put together. I wanted to talk about it, and I didn't think that would be something we'd talk about on comic book curation. It's a little too hot button, and I'm okay with talking about it on this channel. So I'm not too worried about going over that. Hopefully SWC isn't going to try and hit me for showing part of his video, but was talking about it. And it is important news to get out there, I think, to warn people about wasting $25 on a coin with a piece of paper stuck to it. Yeah, I've just started kind of doing these streams, though, Jake. I don't typically, I think this is my 5th one. So I'm going to probably start scheduling them for Sundays, but I haven't really hammered out a format yet. And I don't think I'm going to do them every week. So I might go over what's coming out for the week, but those are real short streams most of the time. It's not going to take me like an hour to do that. And I've been on almost 2 hours because this is the monthly catalog. I will do these every month when I see that they're out. So I'll try and do them on Sundays. And if you follow me on Twitter at D_reviewer, I will always post when I'm going live. So, but yeah, I think I'm going to wrap up here. Thank you guys so much for coming out. I know it's very short notice, and it is really early in the morning, but I appreciate everyone coming out. And if you haven't subscribed to my channels, links are in the description. Go over there and do that if you can. If you're interested in my comic reviews or in the board game channel, where I open up board games and look at all the shiny contents. So yeah, that's going to do it for me. Thank you everyone for coming out and watching. I really appreciate it. If you missed the first half where I did a couple of news stories, be sure and go back and check those out. I think some of that's actually interesting, and I don't want you to invest money in something that you don't know what you're getting. So yeah, but that's going to do it for this one. Thanks everybody for coming out, and hopefully we'll see you on the next one, or on Monkey in the Morning on Ranting Monkey's channel, or on Comic Book Curation on Wednesday nights at some point. So I'll see you guys over there, and thanks again for coming.